Hello, I'm Chef Eric with SteakAger. What am I doing with a 7-pound, 3-bone ribeye? It's a good question. Some of the veteran guys might be scratching their heads right now. But this video is geared towards all the new folks that have come on board, that have purchased a SteakAger, that are raring to go to get that instant gratification of dry-aged beef. So what I did when I first got my SteakAger, exactly what most of you have done. Gone out to a supermarket, found a choice grade. In this case, this is an Angus grade, a little bit more expensive, but this time of year there's a ton of sales. So I got myself a small choice grade, got it in there, and dry aged it for that instant gratification. So I decided to take a little trip back in time because I want that experience again of being a first dry ager with the SteakAger. So I went yesterday and I bought a 7-pound Angus ribeye, 3 bones, and I'm going to put it in my SteakAger and I'm going to let it go 14, maybe 18 days. And just for comparison purposes, this is the real estate that we have to work with the SteakAger. Once you do your first one, and we totally get it, you want that evidence. Once you do your first one, trust me, you will fill this rack on your very next age. So we have about 13 inches to work with, and this one is about, I would say, 6-7 inches, maybe 8. And again, you're going to want to fill that rack. And that's it. We're going to put this in, and we'll get back with you and show you what the result is. And I'll see you on the next SteakAger video. Chef Eric here with SteakAger. This is part 2 of our Newcomer Welcome video. 20 days ago, I did what I did when I first got my SteakAger. And that is I ran down to the supermarket. I found a cheaper, smaller cut because I was raring to go to get my SteakAger loaded, and I really wanted to see if it worked. So I figured most of the new folks who have a SteakAger are going to do exactly the same thing. So I wanted to do a little video on what that looks like. Okay, so I went down to the market and I got this Black Angus 3-bone ribeye, and it weighs 7 pounds. Actually, it weighed 7 pounds before I put it in the SteakAger and dry aged it. Typically, we want to dry age larger cuts because you want to be able to go for a longer amount of time to really benefit from the dry aging process, which will not only tenderize, but it'll concentrate the flavors. So I intended to go 14 to 18 days on this, but life happens, so it ended up going 20 days. And it is ready. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a scale just to look at what the shrinkage was. And it is coming in at 5 pounds and 13 ounces. So that is about a pound loss. And I hesitated to call it loss because what you lose in weight, you increase in flavor and tenderness. So it's really not a loss. So that comes to about a 17% decrease in weight, which is perfectly fine and perfectly normal. When you get a bone-in ribeye, this is how it's typically going to look. You have the rib bones here, 3 of them, and they end here. But there is also these round bones. And what you're going to want to do first is you want to remove the round bones. They are conical in shape with the point facing into the meat. So you're going to carefully, with a sharp knife or boning knife, cut around them and underneath them to remove them. So I have gone ahead and done that primarily all the way. I'm just going to finish them up. And I'm going to just cut underneath and remove them from the 3 bones, like so. And the reason why you want to do it after is because when you remove them, you do end up with essentially holes, and those bones will further protect the meat when they're in place. So now that I have removed the round bones, you're going to want to remove the pellicle. Now the pellicle is this dry outer surface. It is simply dehydrated and dried beef. It is not spoiled. And we're going to use it for beef stock or grind it into burgers with some fresh meat. So what you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to cut those surfaces off. Now you're looking to go for about a 1/4 inch. You really don't need to cut off a lot. It's important to have a sharp knife here because it can sometimes be quite hard. And this is your first chance to see what the inside of this roast looks like. So you can see how dark it is here. And when you remove the pellicle, it brings out more red, fresh, dry-aged meat. All right, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Like so. 1/4 inch. You really want to cut off as little as possible, but sometimes you just got to go slightly deeper once you get that initial cut. Okay? And you just got to work around the bones. So yeah, this is going to be beautiful, beautiful in beef stock. Okay, so this is what we have. You can see how beautifully dry aged this is. It's a firmer texture, mahogany red in color. It's exactly what you're looking for. And then you're going to use the bones as your guide. Okay, so I have 3 of them. So I'm simply going to cut next to the bone. Again, using a very sharp knife. So 3 bones, I'm going to get 3 nice steaks out of this. I could, if I wanted to, do a smaller boneless, but not this time. I'm going to go with 3 nice bone-in ribeye steaks. And this actually is a very nice piece of meat. You can see the nice marbling. And again, that mahogany color. You get a beefy smell from it. Nothing that is offensive at all. And what we're going to do next is you still have pellicle kind of around the meat. So we're going to, again, use a boning knife. And we're just simply going to trim that pellicle off. Using a sharp knife, it's very easy to do. It's a little harder when you're going for longer dry aging times. You're also going to want to cut off any excess fat that might be a little too much. Some people want to French the bone. That would be removing this meat against the bone. And I think I'll do that on one of them just to show you, because there is a lot of fat. So I'm going to cut that off up against the bone. And again, all these pieces will go into beef stock. So I'll do a little bit more work on this bone. And you've got yourself a nice ribeye. This will be great. Do a reverse sear on it. Put it directly on the grill. Do it in a hot cast iron skillet. There's a lot of things that you can do with this. This is going to be a phenomenal piece of meat that we're going to have for dinner tonight. So it's really that simple. Once you do this, once you taste this, you will have all the evidence that you need that the SteakAger really works. It makes restaurant quality dry aged beef safely in your own home. And you know what? If I can do it, you can do it too. So enjoy. When you're done with this, go out and get yourself a nice subprimal. Use your rack as a template, as a measurement tool to cut that subprimal to the right size. And go 35, 45, 55 days and find your sweet spot for dry aged beef. If you haven't already joined the SteakAger Facebook family page, I encourage you to do so. There's a community of people dry aging steak with their steak agers that are ready, willing, and able to answer any questions that you may have. Anyone wants to email me, I'm at eric@thesteakager.com, and I will respond quite quickly, surprisingly quickly. So enjoy, age on, my friends, and we'll see you on the next SteakAger video.